Good evening, all. Chick here, welcoming you to day 27 of the 77-day video challenge as we continue to talk about recovery. When I first got into recovery, um, I couldn't help but notice all the little slogans and sayings posted up on the walls and around the recovery places. But some of those were things like, one day at a time. Well, that made sense to me. Just take it one day at a time. Easy does it was another one that was used quite a bit. One of my favorites. Keep it simple, sweetie. That one made perfect sense to me because I like to try to complicate things. I could make a mountain out of a molehill in a heartbeat. Um, and of course, progress, not perfection. Don't expect perfection immediately or at all, but just continue to keep making progress. But there was one that I found a little confusing. And it was used quite a bit, and it was, to thine own self be true. Now, I've heard that saying pretty much all my life, and I never did really understand what it meant. I mean, the word true has several different definitions. One of them can mean exactly what it says, one can mean honest, one is being faithful or true to yourself in that manner. And so I really didn't quite understand it. So I began to do what I do, and I began to research it. What did it really mean? And why was it so important? And where did it come from? Well, to be honest, I was a little surprised that it came from a Shakespeare play called Hamlet. And it was recited by a man by the name of Polonius to his son as his son was going off to college. And here is the exact quote from Polonius. And he says, "This above all, to thine own self be true, and it must follow as the night the day, thou canst not be false to any man when you're true to yourself." Still wasn't quite sure what it meant. But this is what it's come to mean for me. It's come to mean two things. First, in recovery, you learn to be honest with yourself. Stop lying to yourself. Stop trying to justify things. And look at things for exactly what they are, not necessarily what you want them to be. And once you can begin to do that, once you can begin to look at your life honestly and stop making excuses and justifying your actions and look at them for what they really are, it becomes easier to make adjustments in your life. But secondly, and almost to me more important, it is to be faithful to yourself. I know we've discussed this a little bit before. The things that made me so miserable in the past was not that I was being untrue to somebody else's character or true to somebody else's ethics or beliefs. It was the fact that I was being untrue to my own. I was breaking my own code of ethics. I was doing things that I knew was wrong. But the funny thing about it is when you start doing things you know you're wrong, every time you do it, it seems to be a little less wrong. You keep pushing that envelope, you keep pushing that envelope, you keep pushing that envelope. But when I actually sat down in recovery and discovered my own, it was much easier for me to be not only honest with myself, but faithful to my own beliefs, to my own code of ethics. And when I was able to do that, I was much freer. So I'm going to end tonight with saying to you, to thine own self be true. And I'll see you tomorrow night, one day at a time.